Hey everyone, we wanted to take a moment to make this video on those of you that are thinking about doing the cold capping system, or maybe you're just started it and you have a lot of questions. My wife and I are on our sixth treatment tomorrow. We've already been through five, and there are a lot of questions we had before we started the procedure, and we watched every video on YouTube, and I think out of the 100 or so videos we watched, maybe there was two that were even helpful. The ones from the company themselves were just terrible. They should be ashamed of themselves. Anyway, we wanted to make a video that was just quick and dirty and explain what worked best for us and hopefully pass on this information to you. My wife and I were both a little hesitant going into it, A, because it was expensive to rent the stuff from Penguin, but we also didn't know how successful we'd be. The one thing we wanted to know above all was, does it work? And the results really spoke for themselves for us. She was able to keep about 2/3 of her hair. So the top of her hair is a little bit balding, and you'll see it in the video as we progress here, but by far it was fantastic. And everybody that we talked to at the oncology center told us that had we not done this, she would be completely bald. That said, some oncology centers have a built-in cold cap system where they pump in the cold, and while that works, it doesn't work as well from what I've been reading. Her sister also had cancer and had that system done, and she really lost a lot more of her hair. We opted for this because the hospital didn't have a built-in system. It's grueling, it's hard work, and it's very painful. But at the end of the day, I think it was worth it. Just to give you an idea what it's like, our treatments are about 7 to 8 hours per treatment. We go once every 3 weeks. The cap has to be switched out every 20 minutes, 25 minutes, somewhere in there. So it is a long day, and we get home, there's still 4 hours that we have to do this even after the treatment. Anyway, so what I wanted to do is just kind of go through real quick, show you what worked for us, and hopefully the success that we had will translate into what you have. Okay? All right, with that said, let me give you a quick tour of what we got here, and then we're going to go into the nitty-gritty of it. Okay, when you get your cold cap system, it's going to come with, first of all, it's going to come with this large cooler that you are going to store all your dry ice in, and then it's going to come with 3 sets of everything that you're going to need. So there are 3 actual caps, and they're wrapped up in these bags, and the idea is that once you put one cap on, then the other 2 are going to be getting cold, and then you'll flop them over as we go. And I'll show you how we did this, because it's really important that you have a system in place, so it's just not going to work. The other thing that we had a question about was this something that we could do by herself, or did somebody absolutely have to be there? And I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way you can do this by yourself. This is something that absolutely has to have a partner. And it has to be somebody that's willing to put the work in and do it right. Okay, so you're going to get 3 caps. You're going to get 3 of these. I guess they're bars that go around the cap and fill in the holes. And then also you get on Amazon, and you need to order mittens and gloves. And what these for is to prevent neuropathy, which is a big concern with these chemo drugs. And we got 2 sets of these. She has to wear these on her hands and feet, and then have the cap on her head. You can only imagine how cold it is. It's ridiculous. Okay, we'll go to the cooler here. Okay, with the cooler, you're going to get a set of gloves, and I went to Harbor Freight and bought some that fit a little bit better. These are the ones that came with it, and they're okay, whatever. I mean, the thing that you have to be aware of is dry ice will burn you. It's nasty stuff. And I'm going to show you in the morning how we pack this up. This is all dry ice right here. I'm not touching it with my hands, so I can do this. Where to get your dry ice? We got very, very lucky. The place we got the dry ice from was a welding place, and the owner apparently had his sister or mom or somebody had cancer, and they did this system and they realized how expensive the ice was. So he donates, we're in Indianapolis, he donates dry ice to cancer victims, and so we get it for free, and it's just an absolute blessing. We called around Indianapolis, and prices range anywhere from $100 all the way up to like $450 for this ice, and you have to have about 60 to 70 pounds of it, and it's heavy and it's difficult to deal with, but you have to have it. There's no other way around it. That's why when I said the cold capping system that pumps into the head with the machine, it works, but the problem is it's not nearly as cold as the dry ice method, and it apparently just doesn't, whatever it's doing to the hair follicles, it doesn't do it as well as the dry ice. Okay, this is the next morning. We're getting ready to go to the hospital and get everything ready to go. These are the bags that I keep all of the dry ice in. Now, I mentioned earlier, if you learn anything from this video, this is the way to go. These are nuggets, and you can choose to get your dry ice either in bricks, nuggets, and I believe they even come in as rice, little tiny pellets. The nuggets are perfect, and what we did is we took freezer bags, and when I say freezer bags, I mean freezer bags. Don't get the plastic sandwich bags. You need to get the hardcore freezer bags. And we fill each bag about 3/4 of the way full, not all the way full, because what happens is as they sit, they gas off, and they'll start to expand like balloons and pop the seams on them. So what I'm doing here is I'm just pulling all the bags out, and I'll show you the bricks at the bottom here in just a second. Okay, these are the bricks that go on the bottom, and what they are is they're just flat pieces. They're about 2 inches thick, and they're shaped like little bricks. The reason why, the first time we got these, we actually did the whole thing with these little bricks. The problem with them is that the bags on them break open, and then you have pieces of dry ice everywhere. So what I do instead is just the very bottom layer. I put these bricks on. The bottom is flat pieces, and then I fill in the edges with the nuggets. And what that does is that creates a nice cold surface that when you put the head caps in, it has a nice flat place to lay. Okay, so I'm going to put the first cap in here, and the first thing you want to do when you get these from Penguin is you want to take the Velcro straps and put them on the back, because sometimes they'll be folded out to the front, because you want to have that white side completely exposed to the ice so it gets nice and cold. After we get that back there, you want to put them back in the bags, and what this does is it minimizes the condensation that happens, and I'll show you more about that here as we go. Okay, so we'll take the first cap and we're going to place it white down, so the cold side, you want that facing down. All right, the next cap is the same way. We're just going to lay it down with the white side up. And here I forgot to get those Velcro straps out of the way, but you get the idea. Okay, from here what we're going to do is we're going to take all the bags of the nuggets and we're going to lay them over the top of them. And we're going to try to cover every inch we can. Okay, it's important that I mention that the way we're packing this up right now is different than we're going to keep it packed at the hospital. Everything that we're doing right now is kind of laying it out for the trip over to the hospital. So everything that's going to go in here needs to be set so it's going to get cold. So this thing's going to be jam-packed when we're done. Okay, next we're going to throw the bands in there as well. Now, again, when these come, they'll be shaped so that the white side is in. You want to put the white side on the outside. And again, you want to put these back in the bags because it'll help reduce the condensation. And for these, I'm not too concerned because when we get to the hospital, we're going to get everything reformatted anyway. Okay, then we're going to take the rest of the ice and put it over the top of that. So we've created a sandwich. And you can see why the nuggets work so well, because they fill in all the different gaps and contours and stuff. If you were to use flat pieces, it'll work great for the first 2 or 3 times, but then the flat pieces break apart, and then you just have a mess. Okay, now what we're going to do here is I'm going to take the hand and foot pads and put those in as well, so they have a chance to get cold. These things get cold pretty quick. In fact, when we get them out, we're going to have to let them warm up a little bit because they're so cold I can't put them on our hands and feet. Okay, along with the ice pack, we also need to bring a bag filled with stuff. That is super important. Let's do a list here, and I'll kind of go through this stuff one at a time so you understand why we're bringing it. I'm going to put this down in the description with links to where we bought this stuff. Most of it came off of Amazon. All right, first things first, hair nets. You need to have a hair net, and this is really, really important because it holds the hair back and keeps the Velcro on the caps from getting into in the way, and it also helps just keep everything arranged underneath your cold cap. Cosmetic Rounds, what those are is they're cotton pads that go over the ears to keep the ears from getting frostbite. Moleskin padding, this is also goes on the forehead, same thing, it just keeps it from frostbiting your head. This also goes underneath the hairnet. The wide tooth comb, I believe that comes with the Penguin kit. It's just a really easy way of combing your hair back without actually pulling your hair. Silk hair ties, my wife swears by these. They hold your hair back without actually pulling on your hair. Knee pads, you're going to want knee pads because when you're down on the floor pulling the ice in and out of that cooler, you're going to bust your knees up trying to do that on a hard floor. So bring some knee pads. Towels, we usually bring a bunch of towels because the ice starts to get a little bit wet and condensate onto the floor, so this is just to wipe stuff up. Cashmere gloves. These go underneath the ice pack gloves and booties that you'll be wearing. You want to keep these on your hands and feet so that you don't frostbite your hands and feet. It's really important that you have something between, like a layer between your hands and the actual cold packs. The infrared thermometer comes with the Penguin kit, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. And most of all, heated blankets. Bring some heated blankets because you can keep your core body warm. This is the other stuff that my wife liked to bring, their Kindle, and then she found this really cool Kindle page turner that she keeps on underneath the gloves. She can just hit it with her thumb and then it automatically turns the page on the Kindle. Bring a water bottle, something to drink. Your medications are going to vary by what your doctor's giving you. So my wife had anxiety medication and pain medication because the cold capping, it is painful, very painful. We also brought a laptop, AirPods, and chargers for all of our gizmos because we're in the hospital room for about 7 to 8 hours. So it's a long haul. Okay, so now we're in the hospital. We're going to get ready to do our first rotation, which is different than the other one. Once we get things rolling, we have a consistent way of doing everything. But the very first one is a bit different because normally these caps have to sit in here for 40 minutes because there's 3 of them. We rotate them every 20 minutes, so 2 will be sitting in here for 40 minutes. On the first round, these have been sitting in here for almost 2 hours. So they are extremely cold. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull them out and we're going to have to take steps to try to warm them up a little bit so we don't give her frostbite when we first put it on. And one of the ways that we do that is we have a digital thermometer, which is something you're going to definitely want to have. I believe they send this with the package when you rent this from Penguin, so you can kind of check things. What a digital thermometer does, and most people don't understand how this works, it doesn't measure internal temperature, it only measures surface temperature. So, and in particularly, you can tell this is negative 45 degrees Celsius, which is ridiculously cold. What's the range again?
Negative 28 to negative 35.
Okay, so we want to be negative 28 to negative 35. So this, just the ice surface alone is extremely cold. So what we're going to do these are all the hands and feet pads, which we're not going to use right now. I'm going to pull all this ice out of here. And the object is that we want to pull the top cap off and then take the used one and put it on the bottom so they work their way up. But because, like I said, these have been sitting here for 2 hours, they're all three of them are in here and they're all frozen solid. So, which makes the first application pretty painful. So these are the bands that go around the neck. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Okay, so this is the second one. We'll put that one on the top next time. And this is the first one we're going to use. And I can feel how solid it is, how frozen it is. After you do this for a little while, you get a feeling for what it's supposed to be as far as temperature. You can actually feel it in your hands. And one of the ways that we do that is when you take it out, you want to knead it a little bit with your hands and knuckles to try to get that fluid in there to move around evenly. But in this case, everything is so cold. And just to kind of give you an idea here, so right now, well, it's not too bad. Okay, so we're negative 28 there, negative 27 there. So we're pretty close. It feels a little bit stiff to me, but so what I'm going to try to do is try to loosen this up a little bit. And the reason for that is because this has to contour to her head. And if I don't loosen up the fluid in there a little bit, then it's going to be like putting a brick on her head. You want to have something that kind of shapes to her head a little bit. And one of the things that we do, the front and the back always get colder than the middle. I assume that's because it's just thinner right there. So yeah, negative 46. That's pretty cold. So what I'll do is I'll sit on it sometimes just to get it warmed up a little bit. And it doesn't take much. It stays cold, but doesn't stay cold very long. Same thing over here. Okay, and while we're waiting for that to warm up a little bit, we'll get the first band ready to go as well. Now, just to give you an idea how frozen this really is, you can tell this crease right here is where it was folded. That's all open. There shouldn't be anything. That fluid should be solid through there. Or not solid, but fluid through there. So we'll kind of let this warm up a little bit too. And like I said, since this is the first application, and the second one will be similar to this, everything is a little bit more difficult. And you don't have to be under such a time crunch. All right, the second thing that you have to do once you get all this done is you need to take a rag and you need to wipe this down because there's going to be a lot of frozen condensation on here. And we don't want that to get on her head. So we'll wipe that off here in just a moment. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll get the first one. So what I need to do is kind of get this so that it shapes to her head a little bit. Now, the front is the 2 dots, the back are the 3 dots. So what we're going to do is kind of get this prepared as if it was going to kind of go on her head in this format. So what I'm going to do is just kind of curve it a little bit and try to get it to bend in that direction. That way it's not so abrupt when we put it on. The front, we'll just leave it open like that, and then that'll be the first thing that we do. Okay. Now, we've kind of gotten good at this, so what we're going to do is she's going to take this, I'll put it on her head, and she's going to take the 2 straps on either side and hold down on those. We're going to put the front down first, and it's kind of hard to film this, you can kind of see what's going on here. Alright, so we're going to press this down, put the Velcro over, same thing on this side. And a lot of the help that she's going to give me is by forcing into me to help me do this. The back is a little hard. Now she's going to lean right into me. We're going to take the back end, We're just going to force it underneath and do the same thing on the other side. And it is wicked cold at this point, okay? Then we're going to take the strap, and you can see how the fluid is already starting to go through there a lot better now. We're going to take this and we're going to put it behind her on the back of her neck, and that's going to seal in back there. I'm going to try to get that as tight as we can. Okay, and then to make things even worse for her, we have to take these Velcro straps, and what these things do is they pull everything against the head even tighter and seal up any holes. And this is when she's really going to notice it happening. And then we'll do one on the top as well. Like that. Now there are a lot of videos out there talking about the chin strap, and a lot of people say that you need to strap that thing on there or put some cotton underneath there. We just don't even strap it down because it is so painful and it really pulls against your chin, so we don't even use the chin strap. For the most part, this is all really secure. So at this point we start a 20-minute timer. So it's 10 o'clock now. I'll just watch the clock. And we got to go over and get everything ready for the next round. Okay, now we're back over here, and she's over there freezing her butt off while I put this together. And what we're going to do is we're going to get this started. Once we start this, everything, it just rotates. Okay, so we're going to take, really you could take either one, it doesn't matter. They're so cold. We're going to take the front of this, it's going to go down, and then this one is going to go in on top of it with it facing up. The bags, you need to use these bags. They're a pain in the butt to work with. You don't want to just stick this down on the ice. It's going to freeze it too much. It'll make it too hard. A lot more condensation, etc., etc. So hold on to these bags. That's what's the secret to this whole thing here. Put that in there. And then we're going to take our dry ice that we got in our bags. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that these nuggets are used in freezer lock bags, and the reason we use the freezer lock bags is so they don't break up. If you take regular sandwich bags and you put dry ice in it, this plastic will crack and it'll just fall everywhere. So you have to use freezer bags. So we're going to put this in. Try to get that to cover absolutely everything. Now, after that's in, then we're going to take the next straps, which is this one here, put that in there. Oh. And then the other one goes right here. And the way I do it to keep track of it is that the one that's in the front is the one that's going to go on next, and then I just put the next one behind it, so it's always coming at me that way. Okay, now that we got those in there, we're going to take the bags, put them here. Another thing that I forgot to mention is when you put the ice in these bags, you need to leave the bags open, or at least somewhat open. A lot of these zips are already broken. And the reason for that is because the dry ice gases off, and was it carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide? I always get the two confused. But what'll happen is if this is sealed shut, the bag will inflate like a balloon and then it'll pop. So you have to leave a little bit of airspace in there for the gas to release. Alright, so we got that in there, and then we're going to take the footies in the hands, put those in here and get those ready. And I'll put some ice on top of these too. Okay, and then we seal it up and we just wait for 20 minutes for her to get ready for the next round. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, and now we're going to start the process of what's going to happen here for the next 6 to 7 hours. Actually, maybe longer than that. All right, so immediately, what I'm going to do is come over here first and get this ready so that there isn't much time. By the way, while I mention it, these gloves are from Harbor Freight, and they are thinner and easier to work with than the gloves that they send you. The ones they send you are just super thick and you can't move your hands really well. So I went out and bought these, and they have been just a game changer. Plus, they make them in your size too. The ones that they send you, Penguin sends you, are just huge. So if you have tiny hands, you're stuck with it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is pull all the ice out. Are we doing the footies now? These are the footies and the mittens. They're pretty cold now. We're not gonna do that quite yet. So this is the band that's going to go on her head, behind her neck. I'm going to put that on the bed over here so it's ready to go. This is the one I'm going to keep in here, so I'll just put that off to the side, and when we reload it, it'll be ready to put in there. Okay, so I'm going to take the one off the top. We're going to get this ready first. Same process. I'm going to kind of just knead this fluid around and try to get it flowing through here a little bit so it's more pliable. And you can feel up here on the back part here, it's really stiff, so you can tell it's frozen a lot more than the rest of it. But it all feels pretty good. As long as it's like pliable and you can like leave indentations in it like that, then it's good to go. And we can verify that with the thermometer. So you can see the back there, 23, okay, and that's 21. That's exactly where we want to be. 23, 31. That's a little cold, but that's within range. Okay, it looks pretty good. All right. Next step is and you got to remember this, got to wipe this thing off. Okay, and then we'll get the band ready to go. Now we set the timer for 20 minutes. You can go a half an hour, but the thing is that in the time that it takes you to prepare this, 20 minutes works out perfectly. So it ends up being like a half an hour. And I don't think the hair follicles are counting minute to minute. I think it's just a matter of keeping things cold up there. Okay, so this is ready to go. Remember we talked about we're going to shape this. So it's ready to go on her head. Okay. Okay, we're going to pull off the cap, and the way we're going to do that is we're just going to pull these straps off first. And then we're going to take the band off, throw it off to the side, and release the front. And the whole thing, take it off easy in case her hair is caught in the Velcro. Okay. And then we're going to get the next one ready to go. Okay, first one in the front, second one in the front, and then we'll do the back. Okay, and then get the bands. Okay, and she's ready to go for 20 more minutes.
Sorry.
Okay, now that we got the cap switched out, we're going to take the old cap and put it in here. So the first thing we're going to do, this is the next one to go on. So I'm going to pull it out and put it aside. And this is the one we just took off. So we're going to get this thing all flattened out. Okay, and then we're going to take a rag and wipe all the condensation off of it as best that we can here, because if you don't do this, then when you put it in there to freeze, it'll all freeze into just a solid sheet of ice on here. Okay, flip it over. We're going to put these things like this so that it's easier to handle. And take a bag. I don't know if I mentioned or not, you want to use these bags. You don't want to just put the cap in there, because then everything that's on here that's still wet is going to freeze instantly. So the bag will help insulate that a little bit. Okay, then we're going to take this, put it in face down. And this is the next one that's going to go on, so we're going to put this in face up. And then put the ice on it. And this is what's neat about using these nuggets, is because they're in bags, they contour a little bit more and they get more surface area. If you were to put solid bricks in here, I suppose that would work, but then they start to break up and the bags start to rip, and just a pain in the ass. So the nuggets have been a good thing. Okay, so this is the band that we just pulled off. So we're going to wipe this down. I'm going to fold it over like this. Try to fold it differently each time. That way you don't create permanent creases. Again, put it in the bag. And we're going to put this one towards the back. And then this is the next one that's going to go on. So I put this one in the front. And I'm going to put the ice on. Okay, and then these are the footies and hand things. I just put those on top for right now. They don't have to be super freezing. Okay, and then we're all set and ready for the next rotation. I'll shut this up and be ready. Okay, we got to put the mittens and footies on, and the first thing we're going to do is she's going to put on these cloth mittens, whatever they are. And on her feet she's also got socks, and it's a good idea you do this because these things are so cold that you can get frostbite, so you need to have something between your hands and your feet. As she mentioned earlier, she's got that thing for her Kindle that she can put down and use as a page turner. We're not going to get into that right now, but
A little bit.
a little bit. Okay, so the first thing we do is they're just shaped. These are not the same material or cooling as the head cap, so they don't stay cool quite as long, and they don't get as cold either, which is good. And again, this is to prevent neuropathy. Neuropathy, I can't say that word. In there?
Yeah. I just had to get it so it was covering the right. Okay, don't get mad.
Okay, we got these footies on Amazon. They weren't real expensive. Certainly a lot
Show the
cheaper than the
brand.
Penguin thing.
Show the brand.
Huh?
Susie Pad, that's what they're called.
Susie Pad. Yeah, they're really badly designed. I'm not gonna lie, they're terrible. I mean, what were they? $30? these pads that go into them, you think they could have sewn them in so that they wouldn't slide out, and that's what happens is these things just slide out when you don't expect it, and it's just a bad design. Ideally, what I would have done is sewn this together so that that pad doesn't slide out of there, but we'll hopefully get this on there without any issue. See, it's already starting to slide out because it's junk. Whoever Susie is, they need to learn how to design things better. All right, good enough. All right. So we'll rotate that out probably every hour, maybe.
It's usually like every 40 minutes.
Every 40 minutes, okay, so. Okay, we're gonna do one more change out here, and I wanted to record this one so that you could see how we get the cap on when she has her mittens on, because it's a little bit different, sort of. We're gonna do the thing where we shape this first, just like we always do.
Do you like it?
Okay. And I'll take the old one off. Okay, so like before, I'm going to put it on her head, and then now she's got to grip these things, so the mittens allow you to use your thumb a little bit. So
This is the bad one.
And one of the things that we've noticed is, like, see, this Velcro isn't holding very well anymore, and I think it's just, I don't know if it has to do with the age of it or it's just gotten so cold. I really don't know, but it's annoying. Okay. And one thing I do also want to show here, turn your head so they can see. There's seams in the back here where the cap and this thing line up. That's where I'm putting the penguin things over, the straps over. And the same thing on the top. There's seams up here, and then that's what I'm kind of using. Okay. We're good for another 20 minutes. Okay, well, that's pretty much the whole process. I'm at work filming this closing because I completely forgot about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments at the bottom, and we'll do the best we can to answer them. If you do us a favor and like the video, it really makes no difference to me whether we make money off of this. That's not what it's about. But the more people that like the video, then the more it'll get out there and help other people. The whole purpose was just to help other people. Wish us the best of luck. At the time that we're filming this, it's the end of July, and we have our PET scan in August, and we're hoping for the best. God bless to everybody, and I wish you the best if you decide to do this.